Welcome back. The news in details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Monday directed to pay attention to the cybersecurity of the information infrastructure in the new administrative capital, as well as adopting advanced training programs for the employees in order to raise awareness in applying standards of cybersecurity. This came during the President's meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Telecommunications and Information Technology Amra Talat, Minister of Housing and Urban Communities Asim Al-Gazzar, Presidential Advisor for Urban Planning Amir Said Ahmed, Head of the Armed Forces Engineering Authority Heb Al-Far, and Director of the Armed Forces Information Systems Administration Yasser Abu Mandur. The Head of State also directed to expand in institutional and human development efforts through training cadres on digital skills. Presidential spokesman Bassem Radi said that the meeting tackled the latest in moving government bodies and ministries to the NAC. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi instructed to accelerate the implementation of electricity lines projects in Sinai in light of the importance of electricity sector as a pillar for providing the developmental needs and establishing housing and urban communities in the peninsula. The President's directives came during a meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Electricity Mohammed Sheikher. Presidential spokesman Bassem Radi said that the meeting discussed means of feeding electricity to the national project of Sinai development and projects of upgrading the rural areas across the country. During the meeting, President al-Sisi was briefed on the measures of implementing the national project of villages development within the framework of a Decent Life initiative, where the President directed to use homemade electronic equipments in executing these projects and to depend on the latest devices in this regard. For his part, Sheikher reviewed progress report of developing electricity lines for developmental communities in Sinai and of establishing electricity infrastructure in the new administrative capital. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said on Monday that Egyptians had succeeded in ending the crisis of the container ships stranded in the Suez Canal. His statement came after the Suez Canal Authority announced the success of efforts to refloat the enormous container ship blocking the Suez Canal. al-Sisi said on his official social media pages that by restoring matters to their normal course, with Egyptian hands, the whole world can be assured of the path of its goods and needs that are carried through this navigational artery. The President expressed appreciation to all Egyptians who contributed in ending the crisis. He said that this proves that Egyptians are up to the responsibility as usual. He noted that the Suez Canal, which was dug by Egyptians and fought to preserve their right in, will always be an evidence of their strong will. The MV Ever Given was refloated and the Suez Canal reopened on Monday, sparking relief almost a week after the huge container ship got stuck during a sandstorm and blocked a major artery for global trade. Head of the Suez Canal Authority, Vice Admiral Osama Rabia, announced the resumption of shipping traffic in the Suez Canal. Rabia said during a press conference that a backlog of shipping around the Suez Canal that built up while the waterway was blocked by a giant container ship could be cleared in 3 or 3.5 days. He added that 113 ships were expected to transit the canal in both directions by 800 hours local time on Tuesday. Head of the Suez Canal Authority, Vice Admiral Osama Rabia, announced that the container ship blocking the Suez Canal has been successfully refloated. The MV Ever Given, longer than 4 football fields, became wedged diagonally across the canal during a sandstorm last Tuesday, strangling world supply chains and costing the global economy billions. The MV Ever Given was refloated and the Suez Canal reopened on Monday, sparking relief almost a week after the huge container ship got stuck during a sandstorm and blocked a major artery of global trade. Head of the Suez Canal Authority, Vice Admiral Osama Rabia, has announced the resumption of shipping traffic in the Suez Canal. The MV Ever Given, longer than 4 football fields, became wedged diagonally across the canal during a sandstorm last Tuesday, strangling world supply chains and costing the global economy billions. The crisis has forced companies to choose between waiting or rerouting vessels around Africa, which adds a huge fuel bill, 9,000 kilometers, and over a week of travel to the trip between Asia and Europe. A total of 11 tugboats had been pulling Ever Given, with salvage crews working around the clock. Each day of the blockade could be costing global trade some $6 to $10 billion. That translates to some 0.2 to 0.4 percentage points of annual trade each week. At least 369 vessels are waiting to transit the canal, including dozens of container ships, bulk carriers, oil tankers, and liquefied natural gas or liquefied petroleum gas vessels. The authority said earlier it would be able to accelerate convoys through the canal once the Ever Given was freed. Rabia said it could take from 2.5 to 3 days to clear the backlog, and a canal source said more than 100 ships would be able to enter the channel daily. About 15% of world shipping traffic transits the Suez Canal, which is an important source of foreign currency revenue for Egypt. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry met on Monday with his Iraqi and Jordanian counterparts in Baghdad. The meeting between Shoukry, Iraqi Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein, and Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman al-Safadi is part of ongoing preparations for an expected summit for the leaders of the three countries. In a joint press conference following their talks, the top diplomats reiterated that they tackled means of enhancing joint cooperation in various domains, especially. The talks focus on fostering economic ties among the three countries and implementing an industrial integration during the coming period. The foreign ministers also agreed on intensifying efforts to support Iraqi people in achieving security and stability in their country. The meeting tackled exchange of views over several regional and international issues of mutual concern. The Prosecutor General has ordered the arrest of 8 people over a collision between 2 trains that killed 18 people last week on Friday. The Prosecutor's Office said Monday that the Prosecutor General ordered that the 2 drivers, their 2 assistants, the guard of a traffic control tower, the head of traffic control in Asyut, and 2 other guards be remanded in custody. At least 19 people were killed and 185 injured in Friday's rail crash. Surveillance camera footage of the accident showed a speeding train barreling into another as it rolled slowly down the tracks, sending a carriage hurtling into the air in a cloud of dust. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi pledged tough punishment for those responsible for the crash. The Decent Life Association, along with Sinai Sons for Trade and Public Contractions and Sinai Charity Association, announced that urgent compensations be paid for the victims of Sohag train accident within coordination with the Ministry of Social Solidarity. Minister of Social Solidarity Navina Qabbaj hailed the contributions given by the company, Sinai Sons for Trade and Public Contractions, in supporting the families of the victims and injured of the accident. Qabbaj also praised the efforts exerted by different societies and institutions during the crisis. A Decent Life Association and Sinai Charity Association have allocated urgent compensations for the victims and injured of the accident, which valued at £50,000 for the dead and £30,000 for the injured. Egypt welcomed on Monday the Saudi Green Middle East initiatives, which were launched on Saturday by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The 2 initiatives will shape the kingdom's tendency to protect earth and nature and will strongly contribute to achieving global objectives in facing environmental challenges such as desertification. In a statement issued by the Ministry of Environment, Egypt expressed appreciation to the initiative, which reflects the special importance given by the kingdom to preserving the environment and dealing with issues related to climate change. Egypt said that it is looking forward to participating with Saudi Arabia in implementing the initiative. Under the initiative, 40 billion new trees are to be cultivated in the Middle East, cutting international carbon dioxide emissions by 2.5%. Welcome back. Egypt's stock market indices fluctuated in Monday's trading session amid selling and purchasing operations by investors in both directions. The benchmark EGX 30 index slid by 1.19%. The EGX 70 index for small and medium businesses jumped by 2.39%. And the broader index EGX 100 also went up by 1.54%. The market capitalization closed at £652.5 billion, amid transactions of about £3.2 billion. World oil prices eased on Monday as traffic resumed on the Suez Canal after a massive container ship blocking the waterway was freed. The Suez Canal authorities said the Ever Given was back afloat and traffic resumed in one of the most important routes for global trade and crude shipments that had been shut for almost a week. Crude prices had tumbled earlier after the ship was partially freed. Hours later, the ship completely freed and oil prices fell back. The Suez Canal authorities said the waterway would be open 24 hours a day and the backlog of hundreds of vessels could be cleared in around 3.5 days.